Hello there YouTube, it's Gojira Prime with another Transformers video review, and today we are taking a look at Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Grimlock, Grimlock was originally a G1 character introduced in Season 1, and he is the leader of the first Autobot sub-faction known as the Dinobots. Now, Grimlock himself is one of my three all-time favorite Autobots from G1. The other two being obviously Optimus Prime and also the character of Skyfire. So I'm a big fan of Grimlock, but I don't really have many, if any, Grimlock figures in my collection. I had the original Grimlock figure many, many years ago, which has since disappeared. I never got the Classics Grimlock because I thought it was way too small for Grimlock, at least anyway. And I didn't get the recent Power of the Primes Grimlock with the other Dinobots because, again, I thought they were far too small. Now, the only Grimlock figure I have ever really gotten is the Masterpiece Grimlock figure, which I do have somewhere in a box, but I've not been able to find it to do as a comparison with this figure. However, I've had a day or so to have a play around with this figure in both robot mode and the dinosaur mode, which you see here. And I have to say, this is one of the best Transformers figures I have ever owned. I cannot sing its praises high enough. It really is, in my opinion, an absolutely fantastic figure. It's, the Cyclonus figure, which I did a review on a few weeks back, it's in the same vein as that. They have really done an absolutely fantastic job with this guy in both dinosaur mode and in his robot mode as well. I absolutely love this thing. I'm just going to say that straight off the bat. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great figure. I don't really have any complaints. Aside from the fact it would have been nice if it came with a sword. It doesn't come with a sword. Instead, what you do get is, accessories-wise, you do get the wheelie figure that just sits on him. I've chucked that into a storage box already, so it's not even going to be shown in this review because it's not essential, really, at the end of the day. You do get his cannon, his two-barreled gun, which stores on his back here, which, if I just take that off, is pretty much a dead-on ringer for what the original characters, or original figures, weapon looked back in the 1980s. So really, really nice to have this. To just go around the dinosaur mode, first of all, what I'm really, really pleased about, first of all, is they haven't tried to do a modern, scientifically correct Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is, for those of you who are under the age of 30, this is what they thought Tyrannosaurus Rex was like in the 1980s and before. They thought it was a big, lumbering, tail-dragging thing. Very dumb, not very bright, So Grimlock was made to reflect that. In the cartoons, he's very big. He's a tail-dragging dinosaur. He's not the smartest guy around, let's be brutally honest. Grimlock's not that smart. But he was the biggest, he was the meanest, he was the toughest Dinobot around. In fact, in the entirety of the cartoon that he was in, the Dinobots took on Devastator and were able to hold their own. In the 1986 film, which obviously this figure is based on, they even took chunks out of Unicron, a planet-killing Transformer, and still came away with barely a scratch on them. The only time the Dinobots were ever really felled in combat was in the desertion of the Dinobots, when Megatron waited until they were in their robot modes, which was when they were at their most vulnerable, and then blew up an entire airport of 747s around them. That's the only time they've ever been beaten in combat before. So that just shows how tough the Dinobots are meant to be in canon. But yeah, the fact that they've done Grimlock like this, big, lumbering, tail-dragging dinosaur, really, really love this thing. It looks spot on for how Grimlock looked in the show. The tail could be a little bit longer, maybe. But aside from that, not too keen, aside there's this flat section here, but that's not really a problem. The tail could be a bit longer, maybe up to about here perhaps, and maybe angled a little bit better. But, that's not a problem at the end of the day for me with this figure. This is, as far as I can tell, and he's also missing his front teeth. I don't know why that is, but he is missing front teeth. As far as I can tell, this guy is pretty much spot on for how Grimlock looks in the cartoon. This is about as accurate as you are going to get for a G1 Grimlock. Now, just to do a comparison with him, in dinosaur mode, at least anyway, here is Transformers Kingdom Megatron, which is obviously, aside from the color scheme, which is meant to be more accurate to the original cartoon, this dinosaur mode is meant to be much more accurate and lifelike, than his Grimlock counterpart here. This isn't a tail-dragging dinosaur. If I just move Grimlock, a bit more there, sorry. This guy's not a tail-dragging dinosaur. It's meant to reflect, much more accurately what a T-Rex looked like, which is also part of the problem for this figure as well. But I'll go over this figure and its issues at a later date. So yeah, really great dinosaur mode. Really love the fact that it's faithful to the original G1 cartoon and not to modern day science. So yeah, in this mode, his legs do move. Nice big ratchets. I think you can, but I'm just going to try. No, you can't bend his legs at the knee. They can bend that way, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you can just move his legs like that. So you can just have him splayed like that, but really he's meant to be like that. The arms in dinosaur mode do move at the elbows, and they do also move at the wrists, the shoulders as well. So you can get some nice arm poses with him at the very least. He does also have head articulation in dinosaur mode. The head will move up and down. Very nice blue eyes. I think the blue eyes are how he was given in the movie, but he did also have red eyes as well, I think, too. And the mouth will open as well. So if you wanted, you can have him like that. But for me personally, I just keep him like that and then just have him like that. So there are options in dinosaur mode, which is nice. You've got the nice Autobot logo on the chest section here, which will split when you splay open his chest. And then you've got the nice gold-colored plastic here on what will be his chest in robot mode. It's his belly in dinosaur mode. And then you've got some nice gold plastic for the claws. So yeah, really, really nice dinosaur mode. Really, really love it. What I'll do now is I'll pause the video, get him transformed, and then we'll take a look at him in his robot mode. Okay, so now we have Grimlock transformed into his robot mode. Now, I know I don't usually do the transformation sequences in my videos, but what I will say for the transformation sequence for this guy is it's very, very, very simple. Once you've done it once or twice with the instructions, he's very, very easy to do. Which for me is quite surprising because I expected him to be more complicated in the transformation sequence, but I'm thrilled to say he's not. He's actually very, very easy. Once you've done him once or twice with the instructions, you won't need the instructions again. So just to go through him in his robot mode, as you can see, this guy is a dead ringer for Grimlock as he appeared in the Generation 1 TV series. If you've watched Generation 1, this is how Grimlock looked in that show, with his double-barreled rifle, or rifle, pistol, whatever you want to call it, the claws on his hands, like some sort of additional piece of armor, the splayed chest section at the rear here with the dinosaur head hanging off his back, the tail section which becomes the legs. I mean, I love the fact we've got this paint here on the legs, like breaks everything up. This big gold chest and this really, really nice face sculpt on there as well. It would have been nice if they'd included the ability to switch it between the red and the blue like they did with the Masterpiece figure, but it's a minor issue at the end of the day. One thing I'm not too keen on, though, is this chest plate here. It is a little bit too dark, so you really do struggle to see the Autobot logo that is underneath it. It can be a bit of a struggle. It's quite dark, so you do struggle to see it. But, aside from the chest plate, everything about this guy is perfect. The color, the size, the transformation, very, very easy. The articulation in robot mode, you've got movement at the shoulders, movement at the elbow there, leg articulation, all the way out, all the way forward, all the way back, and at the knee as well. So, you can get this guy into, all manner of poses that you want for on the shelf. So yeah, I mean, robot-wise, all the detailing that you think should be there for a G1 figure or G1 inspired character is there. This guy is as close as to a perfect figure for Grimlock as you are going to get, in my opinion. This is even better. I'm going to say this. This is even better than the Masterpiece Grimlock figure we got, 10 years ago? And that was a pretty bloody good figure. This guy is like Masterpiece shrunk down and made a lot easier to transform. I think this is a perfect figure. I really, really do. It ticks all the G1 nostalgia boxes that I, as a G1 fan, have. It looks exactly like Grimlock did in the cartoon. I can't sing this thing's praises high enough. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. I really, really do. So just as some comparisons, here he is again, this time with the Megatron figure, the Beast Wars Megatron figure from Kingdom, in its robot mode, and Grimlock is bigger in robot mode than Megatron is. And if I'm honest, I think he's a better figure than this Megatron is as well. But like I say, I'll review this guy at some point and I'll go through my issues with him. But this is a figure I hoped I own. I like this guy. I love this guy. This I was hoping for more from, to a certain degree. Don't get me wrong, it's a good figure, but it's not what I was hoping it would be once I got my hands on it. But yeah, as you can see, he's taller than Megatron head-wise. Megatron's head comes up to about the top of his shoulders. The backpack piece does give him a little bit of extra height, but not a great deal. And then here he is next to Titans Returns Bumblebee. So, this is, typical Scout class figure or Legends class figure, and, Grimlock just dwarfs him, basically. Here he is next to the Voyager scaled Megatron from the Kingdom line. And again, this scale works out about right, I think, for the characters. Grimlock is usually very, very large for an Autobot. Autobots usually don't come much bigger than Optimus Prime. Grimlock and the other Dinobots tower above pretty much everyone in the Autobot lineup, short of Skyfire, really. And then finally, here he is next to Kingdom Optimus Prime. And again, this is a scale that works, I think, very, very well for the characters. Grimlock towers above Optimus Prime, and I think that's a good thing. Prime literally has to look up to Grimlock, toy-wise. If you watch the cartoons, then you know that these two didn't always see eye to eye at first. It was only after the events of desertion of the Dinobots that they actually started to get along with each other after that. But yeah, this is a really good scale, I think, for Optimus Prime and Grimlock in their robot modes. Grimlock is just absolutely massive. Now, what's interesting is, scale-wise, Optimus Prime is sold as a leader class figure. The figure itself is not leader class. This is a Voyager class toy. It's classed as leader class because it comes with the trailer. It's the bulk of plastic used in its creation. Grimlock is a proper leader class figure. He's just one giant figure with no accessories that you need to get him up to leader class size. I think the Ultra Magnus is probably a leader class figure as well. I do have the Titans Returns Ultra Magnus somewhere. I should have gotten him really to do a size comparison with this guy. But yeah, this is a proper leader class figure. This is just a Voyager class figure, classed as a leader class figure because it's got a trailer to go with it. So, is Studio Series Grimlock worth getting? Absolutely. If you're a G1 fan and you are looking for, the perfect Grimlock figure, this is what you've been waiting for. It looks perfect in dinosaur mode. It looks perfect in robot mode. It scales brilliantly with the other figures in the Generations, Kingdom, Siege, Earthrise line. Sorry, this is Earthrise Prime, by the way, not Kingdom Optimus Prime. So yeah, if you're looking for a really, really nice Grimlock figure, then this is what you want to get. Price wise, it is £50, but it's a leader class figure. You're going to be paying that. I can only hope, though, that now we've had this guy, I really do hope that Hasbro are listening to the fans and we get the other Dinobots in this scale. I am really hoping that over the next 2 years, whatever it is, I'm able to put Slag, Snarl, Sludge, and Swoop here next to Grimlock. I really do hope that does happen. I do have my doubts because I just can't see Hasbro making 5 leader class figures for the Dinobots. I really hope they do. I just don't see it happening myself, but I really, really do hope that they do it. It would be really fantastic, and it's something I think the fan base has been screaming for God knows how long. So if you can still get a hold of leader class Grimlock, Studio Series Grimlock, get a hold of him. You won't regret it. He's an absolutely fantastic looking figure in dinosaur mode and robot mode. I absolutely love this thing. It is perfect as far as I'm concerned, and really worth the price tag of £50 paying for it. So thank you very much for watching the review. I hope you've liked the video. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe, comment below, and have a very good night.